Welcome, I'm Eric, call sign N1JUR, and today I'm going to review another 3 iOS ham radio apps so you don't have to download them yourself. Maybe you're looking for an alternative to repeater directory, or you're trying to pinpoint that next SOTA summit, or maybe you're looking for new ways to share your ham location with others around the globe. Well, let's get into it. So this is our first of 3 apps. This one's called Local Repeaters. So let's head on over to the cell phone here. All right, so this app is got some good features, but I have to admit I'm getting a little frustrated with some of its layout and functionality and its design. But based off of its idea, it's kind of a good concept to start with. And, maybe you're more of a visual learner and you'd like to kind of see where repeaters are. Say, you're a road warrior and you travel a lot. This app might be a good alternative for you. So let's take a look at it. So when you first start off with the app, you obviously can use your current location and it will go and pull up the map to where you might be. And you'll see that it's kind of pulling from the database here of locations of all of the repeaters based off of my GPS on my phone. So I'm going to kind of break this down into kind of good and bad. Obviously good, it's pretty accurate. Most of the repeaters in the area that I use in my neck of the woods are pretty much listed there and available. And if you go into any one of them, if you just zoom in here a little bit, if we go to tapping on this one here, the W3UA repeater. This one's a DMR repeater. As you notice, when you tap on it, it provides you a very clear banner at the top and then some of the data down below. I find that if you untap it, and try to go to your next repeater or next location, it will come up with another status of the repeater and its offset and so forth and so on. So the data and the information are really good and really laid out. But one of the things that I struggle with, and this is kind of falling into the bad category, is the app is a little laggy. When you're trying to move around and you're trying to, pull data in, you'll see that I'm trying to get out of the app and move around. Response time seems to be a little bit of a struggle in terms of bringing things up. The other thing is that the layout. Now, I love the fact that I can see in big bold print the name of the repeater by call sign and by frequency, but damned if I try to get rid of that. And based off of the screen real estate, if I have repeaters that are kind of back to each other, if I don't tap on the right little icon, I can never seem to get rid of that little banner. And so like where you have clusters, if I zoom out here, you'll see that some of the clusters I have in here that, they get very, very hard, and trying to finger tap that is going to be very, very challenging over and over. And I got frustrated with trying to remove that banner to be able to tap on another repeater that's kind of closer by. So I think if the designer had, made a few better responsive or design changes in terms of how that data was displayed, I think the app would be much more user-friendly in being able to show you information quickly and then close it out without having to go back and recall. But I noticed that if I'm also trying to zoom in on that one repeater, trying to get that other data back for that, detail of that little pane that pops at the bottom, I can't always get that to come back every time. So again, the app is kind of a little bit half-baked in terms of its functionality, and I don't think it was fully QA'd in terms of that. The other thing too is that I'm not sure in terms of the favorites option, whether it's a firm press a lot of times, or how I get those favorites into my, or these repeaters into my favorites, because there's no button, there's no feature for me to be able to add them to my favorites. So I can never go back to looking up that repeater because there's no way to tag it. So again, the interface is definitely something that needs a thorough, vetting. And I think if it had more filtering, meaning that if you go into repeater directory, and if you've caught my previous videos, the one I did on repeater directory, it's pretty formidable in the sense that I can filter out what types of machines I don't want to see. meaning DMR or FM only or analog only or fusion. And I can filter by band and type. Now, this one doesn't quite allow me to do that at all. So I'm really kind of stuck, either filling up my screen or just getting super frustrated and closing the app out. So all in all, I mean, it's a good attempt at trying to visually display locations of repeaters if you're on the road and traveling. However, the interface itself definitely needs an overhaul and some changes in order to make it more user-friendly, and the features that most apps have today should be baked into this. So that's local repeaters. All right, this next app is called SOTA Finder. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna probably blow through this pretty quickly, as this app is very basic in its functionality. So if you've downloaded it and you've been using it, I'm always curious to see your thoughts on it. But let's get into it and show you what I found. So with SOTA Finder, again, it's a very simple app, very simple design, has this kind of the same color scheme and flow as Repeater Directory does, and the same functionality and buttons. So when they designed the app interface, I think they kind of followed suit. And the data is presented in a very simplistic way. And the nice part about it is it uses your GPS. So no matter where you are, if you're looking for the nearest SOTA summit, this app will pull it up based off your GPS location. The settings features are very basic. I mean, again, following the same formats as, say, Repeater Directory. You can change, obviously, some of the basic stuff in the app, but you're really not gonna make a whole lot of changes to it. Now, filtering, again, there's only really two options: a distance and how far that distance is. I would hope to see maybe a capability if I can filter by how many points each location or summit is. So if I only want to do a 6-pointer or a 3-pointer or a 1-pointer, I can see all of those by going into the filters. And by maybe other location type data that a lot of folks who do summits on the air, I'm sure would appreciate. So the filtering, again, is very minimal. A couple of things with the app that really kind of just drive me a little bonkers, that if I'm going through the list and I tap on one, you expect when you tap on the entry would go into the details of that summit. The problem is it puts it right at the very top of the list, and then I have to actually tap the highlighted entry there in order to be able to get into the summit data itself. Now, the summit data is not bad. I would love to see a feature in here where if I decided that I want to bookmark or tag this, that I could appropriately tag this and put it into my favorites. So if I ever wanted to get back to it, because again, if you're filtering off a GPS location and the location you're at may not be your home location, there's no way, if you don't have a good memory like I do, to be able to remember what that summit name was, or how to find it, or if it had a weird, unique summit identifier that you just couldn't remember. Was it a 9 or a 1 or whatever? There's some lacking features in there to be able to kind of use this, or want to be able to use this app to be able to come back to on a consistent basis. And then maybe having a way to be able to tie that information to export it in some other way. I don't know, to other applications might be a benefit there. So SOTA Finder, it's a very simple app, very basic in its nature. Definitely is lacking a few features, but again, if you're a SOTA hiker and you're like stuff like this might be a good additional app to be able to use if you are looking for a reference type information. So that's SOTA Finder. Right, this last app today is called the Global Skywave, which sort of sounds Big Brother-ish.
Big Brother's always watching you.
In its nature, so fear not, it's not really, we'll say, as prying, although it is a little ad heavy or ad aware, which can be annoying. But let's kind of get into the app. So Global Skywave, like I said, the name kind of cringes me out because it's sort of Big Brother-ish. But I will say that it's got some good promise to start to become something a little bit better. I don't know if the developers struggled with trying to get enough interest, or the crowdsourcing component was a little challenging. But what it does is it allows you to kind of provide a unique profile of yourself, and you can log into the app. It provides a login through all the typical social connectors, like Google and Apple and whatnot, which in essence, I don't know what the developer does with the data or what they'd want, but in essence, there's something to be concerned if you're concerned with your privacy. But the app, once you get that set up, you can go in and create your profile and set up your antenna types, what band you sort of frequent on, which I'm not quite sure how I would use that functionality or what it would be used for. But in essence, once you've set up all that information, the app will then, do using GPS and a few other things, your latitude and longitude. So all that stuff is available. And then if you wanted to expand the map here, you'll find that you could zoom all the way out to the larger view of the world. And, there are a few folks using this app, and simple as just tapping, say, on the app. I think the double tap capability is kind of a little a pain in the butt, because in essence, if you want to tap on that location, that's where you were tapping. But I could see where it could get a little messy if you have similar how we reviewed in the local repeaters map layout. There were times I was trying to tap on a certain repeater, so same thing could probably fall in here. So, once you've opened up the details on the user, you can get all of their call sign, the latitude, longitude, what type of antennas they're running, their names. And then there's this chat option. Now, I tried the chat option a little earlier with a couple of different people. I randomly kind of picked a few and just kind of said, hello, called CQ. I have not heard anybody respond back, so I don't know if the app has any, say, text notification or alert notification set up in their design to notify the other user on their smartphone or other smart device that I'm reaching out to them to say hello. I could see some of the good benefits to this, where as being in the QRZ world, everything's kind of tied to social and that aspect. If you're looking for something that doesn't have that capability, but it's more like, say, the chat feature in many of the other apps, are there and available without having to be in, Facebook or any of those other platforms, this might be a pretty good, option for folks to be able to communicate with one another. The app itself, some of the bad things, obviously, I was very confused, and as you probably noticed when you were watching me go through the demo of this, that at the very top of the page was a small little sliver of an ad space. Now, again, if you're designing your app and you're making it look like the rest of the main part of the app, I know I kind of didn't make the connection and thought it was part of the system, but you're basically forcing folks to, tap on something that they think that they have to install with the app, and in fact, it's actually just really something more spammy and a way for you to get, call to action clicks on those banners. So that the banner's in poor choice to where it's located. I think it's, I understand that the app and the developer has to make money, but you can do this in many better, more clearer ways to your audience who are downloading your apps. Clearing that up might be a better thing. And then on top of this, obviously, I've been sitting here talking about this app, and lo and behold, guess what's happened? Now the app has decided to take full screen. Why? Like, what benefit does that offer me? Why do I want to download QR code, scanner when my full, phone does that automatically with its camera already built in? So I think the developer's kind of done, himself wrong with this process, and should really kind of go back and think more about how they should restructure this. And I think at the same time, obviously if you try to just tap out of it, you really can't get out of it. So the only thing I can say is just click close at the top, because even again, that's more confusing if you're not paying attention. I would say, this could be a really good app if the developer took a little more time, figured out what methods he could do to integrate into the application that would allow you to be able to make better contacts and be able to kind of just tie into other things like QRZ and the like, to be able to share those communications with one another. Because I think it'd be kind of cool to know that if I was tapping on somebody in this program and I had worked them before, I could actually go back in and see that based off my QRZ information. So, it's one of those apps that definitely has got some good features or good ideas, but again, it kind of came up a little short. So hopefully the developer, makes improvements to it and they continue to expand on it, because I think they got a good idea and they can move forward on it. All right, well, there you go. There are 3 more iOS ham radio apps that you don't have to download because I did it for you. Again, I don't think any of these will take any top honors. They're all kind of apps that are in process, which I'm hoping developers haven't abandoned and are maybe working on improving it. With that, if there's any of those apps that you did like or features that you use in those apps that you want to let me know about, please leave them in the comments down below. And as always, if you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, and share to the channel, as it helps get this type of content in front of others, or maybe those that are a little ham curious. So with that, if you've got any other apps too as well that you'd like me to review personally, please leave them in the comments below, or you feel free to reach out to me at n1jur.nh@gmail.com. And with that, thanks for watching, and 7th